Okay. Okay. Din in the Fashas done in beginning. So the Mishnah says that din in the Fashas you start by day, you finish by day. And we also said that if it's l'chayv, you wait another day before you do before you find the person guilty because you sleep on it. Maybe you'll change your mind. And as soon as you issue the sentence, you have to implement the verdict. We don't want to delay anything. So the Gemara says. Immediately, how do you know that it has to be finished by day? And the pasuk, you then, let's say, carry out the punishment and you would hang them. This is a story about those who worship the Baal Poed. Neged Hashemish, in front of the sun, which means the punishment had to be during the day. And the punishment has to be right after the sentence. So obviously, the sentence, everything has to be done by day. Who said that Haika means actually hanging them? It says somewhere else. That the Givonim demanded that they hang the Shaul HaMelech's family. When it says there, and Haino means hanging, well, it says Haikanim. Remember, the question is, how do we know what the word Haikanim means? It says over there, Vatikach Ritzpa Bas Aya, that Ritzpa, the daughter of Aya, she was married to Shaul. She was one of Palakshim. And one of her sons were there being hanged. And she took as a sack, Vateteyula El Atzur Betchilatzir. She sat there by the stone to make sure the birds don't rest on her son while he's hanging and they won't be defaced and all that. So, again, obviously the bodies were exposed if she's standing there trying to protect the son. So we know it means hanging. It says, it says over there, anyway, so here we know that it means hanging, and therefore hanging has to be done by day, so the sentence has to be done by day as well. See, it says, Hashem said to Moshe, that story there, by when they all worship the Baal Poed, I want you to take all the leaders of the people. They also are guilty. What do they do? Why are they culpable? But they didn't. He said, why don't you appoint as many but they didn't as he can so that we should try all those people that worship the Baal Poed. My time, but why do they have many but they didn't? What do you need so many for? We don't do two sentences in one day. And since there were so many people involved, we needed so many but they didn't. Two separate punishments. But if it's the same punishment, we do. You're right, it's the same punishment we do. But he wanted to show the Abish that we're taking you very seriously in defending the covenant of Hashem. Therefore, we may point as many but as possible. Many people be involved in passing judgment and then eliminating all of these people. So you finish on the same day. And in the Fashas, we wait till the following day because maybe you'll sleep on it, you'll come up with some new ideas. It says in Pasuk, Melasi Mishpat, that filled with Mishpat Tzedek. And when you did it right, Yolimba, you would sleep on it and you wait another day before you pass judgment. But after the problem right now is in Shleim, this is part of talking about the Churban Hamikdash, is Meratzchim. You guys are murderers, you don't delay, you just, willy-nilly you kill. So that's how we know that you have to wait another day. Rava says, we learn from the following pasuk. It says that Ashru, you should praise or support Chamotz, those who delay. What do you mean delay what? You should support those or praise those Dayanim who do not come with a sentence. Yeah, they wait another day before they can work it out. Well, what does he do with the pasuk? Asheru Chamoitz said you should praise those who delay. What does he do with the pasuk? Beloi, and he says here what it means is Beloi Chaimotz. That it means that we should support the Cham. We should support the one who was the what do you call it? That you're supposed to support the victim and not the perpetrator, and instead, what do? They support the perpetrator and not the one who was on the receiving end. Hi, Malaysi Mishpat, my over there. What do they do, Malaysi Mishpat? Called Tinus. You know what it means? Is the Yolim boss. Not talking about the Yolim at all. What is it talking about? That Amol called Tinus Shemalina boss had Zdaki Shever Gami Amol. When they gave, as soon as they had a Tinus, they right away set aside Zdaki so the poor people would have what to eat because they were what they had nothing to eat for the whole day, entire day. And now they're delaying the giving the Zdaka. So it says Malaysi Mishpat Tzedek. In other words, what they're doing is they're delaying this tzedakah yolim, and that's why it's a terrible thing. Here's a negative thing. When do we say that you have to give the tzedakah straight away? If you're giving food, that can be eat straight away. Bread or dates, but money or raw wheat or raw barley, which you have to spend time anyway preparing it. Less lambar, then it doesn't make much of a difference if it's tonight. Tomorrow, the poor person definitely has something else organized and not relying on that for tonight. Yeah, okay, the case of Chamaitz famous is talking about if you have the cases like this, you have a dentator, I didn't explain before. You have a dentator, and Reuben claims Shimon, you owe me $100. And then Shimon makes another claim, and he says, I gave you a master worth $100, and you lost it, you ruined it, so I owe you nothing. So we treat it as two separate cases. First, we hear case number one about the what do you call it? The case of $100, and then after that we'll try case number two, and we don't put the two together. That's what it means. Chametz v'loy chametz. So so chametz is the plaintiff, and the chametz is the defendant. First, we listen to the chametz to the plaintiff, and then afterwards we listen to the defendant. You have another case. You want to counter sue? Okay, that's a separate case. Therefore, ain't done. We don't judge Erev Shabbos because we have a problem. So you must tease out why don't you judge the nefashos Erev Shabbos? Well, probably we don't judge the moments either, the Rabban, but we don't want to judge the nefashos. Starting from that, why not? My timer. The Gemara said because it's not possible. When it's not possible, hey chilav, what should we do? Lidain about the judge on Friday, will and conclude the entire, wrap it all up on Friday. What happens if you find him l'chayv? Maybe they'll find me guilty. And what did we learn before? You find someone guilty, you have to delay it by a day. You'll have to wait. What's the problem? So why don't you judge on Friday and then conclude on Shabbos? And conclude on Shabbos. Now the problem is if you find him guilty, you're going to have to then execute him. So do the same thing. No. If you find someone b'chayv, you have to do it the next day. Oh, the punishment has to be the same day, yeah. So So what's the problem? It's a mitzvah for Bezin to carry out, implement whatever they sentence. So you'll do that on Shabbos. The Gemara says, "Ain't it the tzichet derech is Shabbos?" There'll be discussion on the base. Why takanat? If it's a mitzvah on Bezin to punish, why shouldn't they do it on Shabbos as well? So Gemara said, "No, the leila urta." So wait till Motzei Shabbos, and then execute him. No, you can't, as we just learned. Neged Hashemesh Bina. They're already hanging him after the skila. Neged Hashemesh. So the punishment has to be done by day. The ligman eladina b'Shabbat. So why don't they do the Gemar din on Shabbos and look at the kill on Sunday by day? But you can't. Nimta at ma'anas dina. Delayed, whatever it is delayed justice. Delayed punishment. We need to punish straight away. So we're going to ask a question. Judge him on Friday, the nigmar b'chad b'Shabbat, and conclude on Sunday. Reconvene on Sunday. Mincha tamayu. Don't forget why they whatever they said on Friday. But you want to ask? We just learned yesterday that you have two safadina there, that they stand there and they record every single thing, including all the reasons and the basis for whatever they said. So what are you worried about? Avagav the Shnei Sefer Dayanim Einim with name that two scribes are standing. The Koisin did and Mazakna B'Chayim. They recorded all. This is very interesting. What it says here. Nihi de B'Pumikasin. True that what they said we can write. Or believe the insha, but they forgot what's going behind it. You ever read something you wrote 5-6 years ago, and even though you read it, it's your own words. You read different than what you said because the whole year. What was it exactly? What was the context? What was I thinking between the words, between the lines? But you don't have. Interesting. There's a whole machlekes in the goinim. If you allow the bezek can give malchus and Shabbos. Because we're going to learn that you don't do the tzich and Shabbos, you don't do these because you're killing somebody. That's the malacha. What malacha is it giving malchus? What's the aveda? Sorry? No, that's about killing. It's about age. They kill about what Malchus. What Malach are you doing by Malchus? Oh, so the Magen Ram says the Magen Ram says in the end of Hilchos Shabbos that maybe make a chabur, maybe, but it looks like it's only a maybe. It looks like most times they did the Malchus. There was no bleeding, no chaburas. Is that possible? 39 Malchus.
Very soft.
It's not going to be soft. We'll see Malchus is pretty tough going. You would think the worst thing is the one that goes and wraps around the front. You know, there's two in the back, one in the front. The one for your skin is much more tender in the front than the back. So why would the Magen Ram say maybe? In fact, they're going to say allowed to. You do. I don't know. Maybe Taka didn't get black. Maybe there was no chabura. Chabura, has to be a little bit of blood moving around. I don't know. So now this Lakish says to Avechan is a whole DU now. So this is the whole cup. Tehei kavuras meis mitzvah deichashav. He starts out with this. I'm going to get to Al Gemara here. We learned at the beginning of our Megillah how big, what kind of big mitzvah it is to bury a meis mitzvah. So let the kavura of a meis mitzvah be deicha Shabbos. On Shabbos. If you see a meis mitzvah, you should be deicha. Why would you think you should be on Shabbos? From a kabel chaymer. Madach avoida shedeicha Shabbos. You bring kabbanas on Shabbos. There's two kinds of kabbanas. We'll break down the Gemara later. Kabbanas tzibur and kabbanas yachid. A carbon tamid is brought on Shabbos. A carbon musaf is brought on Shabbos. So there's two kinds of kabbanas. And then there's the carbon yachid. You bring your own chatzas, oil, shlamim. That you don't do on Shabbos. But a carbon tzibur you do on Shabbos. So madach avoida, which overrides Shabbos, which tells you that avoida l'chayid is more stringent than Shabbos. Yet kavuras meis mitzvah doich the burying a meis mitzvah. It stops you from avoida. I remember holding about the Megillah. We'll go through quickly here. How do we know that? How do you know that kavuras meis mitzvah overrides your avoida? The pasuk said that a nazir should not be metame himself. Then it says, "Va'aviv u'le'ima," he shouldn't be metame his father, his mother, his sister. What do you have to spell? If you already said you're not going to be metame to anybody, obviously you're not metame to anybody. It's because it says, "I'll call nafshas meis lo yavar." Isn't that automatically include everybody? Why did it have to spell out la'aviv u'le'ima la'chayse? Each one comes to add another layer. To them, you shouldn't be metame, but to a meis mitzvah, you should. So what happens if you're a nazir? And another, but a meis mitzvah, yeah. Then another and a kohen hedyot. Two reasons why you shouldn't be metame, but meis mitzvah you do. You're a kohen gadol and a nazir. You three reasons why you shouldn't be metame, but to a meis mitzvah you should. Sorry, why not? Even true, but if he became a nazir, what happened? Became a nazir? Good question. I'm not remembering. But he became a nazir before he became a kohen gadol. But he is a nazir. It's it's chal already. So what happens? You have three layers here of Yisurim, but a meis mitzvah you do. So what do we see from here? That a meis mitzvah overrides the avoid of a kohen. Kohen gadol has to bring the chavisim every day. Overrides that. You tell me, look, love you, if you were going to Shech Pesach or Mali your son. Big Machek is a Shainim, not really so much here. Big Machek is a Shainim. Is this a continuation? I mean, it brings the alerts through it. Is this a continuation of it? You're another Kohen Gadol, and you're going to Shechting Korban Pesach or Mali, mainly Shechting Korban Pesach. Or Mali, so these are two mitzvahs to do with Kodesh. I mean, let's say you have a Chiyuv of Kodesh if you don't do it. All of these things compounded. Nevertheless, a meis mitzvah overrides it, or this is a new Indian. Nothing to do, unrelated to a Nozek Kohen Gadol. Another Indian. This is a mitzvah say. There's an Easter in our Kodesh here if you don't go ahead and bring Korban Pesach, but nevertheless, meis mitzvah. Shabbal Taisa. Step back. Don't bring a Korban Pesach. Don't mala. Go do the meis mitzvah. But the one that should is we've seen from here is that what that meis mitzvah pushes away avodah. So if Madach avodah pushes away Shabbos and meis mitzvah pushes away avodah, surely meis mitzvah should push away Shabbos. That was the Shlokish's question to Rabbi Yechon. He heard that somebody died, a relative, Yachol Yitma, or if it be Tamam La Yitma. To relatives, you can't go, right? You have a Korban Pesach. Yachol Kishem She'eina Metamel LaChoyse Kach Eina Metamel LaMeis Mitzvah. This is what we learned from LaChoyse. We would have thought a Meis Mitzvah is included. Tamel LaChoyse didn't Metamel. LaMeis Mitzvah. So Shabbos. So when it comes to Shabbos, Shenidachas mipnei avodah. When it comes to Shabbos, with avodah overrides it. We said, you bring a carbon tummies and all that. Musaf, ein oidin surely should take kudas meis mitzvah doicha isa. So meis mitzvah should be doicha Shabbos. That's the Shlokish's question to Rabbi Yechon. Amalei, so Rabbi Yechon answered back, this is how it relates to our Gemara here, that the Bezdin has a mitzvah to go ahead and to execute whoever it is, this person for doing Aveda, but they don't do it on Shabbos. You don't do that on Shabbos. And how do we know that? How do we know that? Because it says in the pasuk, "Me'im." It says in the pasuk, "Me'im mizbechi tikachenu." He says you should take him away from the mizbech, lamus, and put him to death. So we see that what that ritzicha is doicha avoida, right? Because me'im mizbechi tikachenu lamus, the ritzicha is so the bezin has to go take him away, and yet you can't do it on Shabbos. And how do we know can't do it on Shabbos? That's what you said before the survival age of Chodesh. That's what we know Bezin doesn't do with the 4 punishments. So the tzich techiach, and that's how this relates to our Gemara here. So the Rabbi said the tzich techiach. Shedoich is avoda. The tzich pushes away avoda, even if you're doing it in the base of Mikdash, will take you away from the mizbech. And we point out that Rashi already and others already point out, but that's only if you're near the mizbech. In the base of Mikdash. Not if you're mamash on top, it doesn't say ma'al mizbech. This is the mice with Iyov. Yoyev, that he tried to save himself there by hanging on the mizbech. It's doiche the avodah, but ain't doiche the Shabbos. Says the Gemara. No, that goof was a question. Why talking that? If the tzich is doiche, if the tzich the avodah and avodah the Shabbos, it's the same question that I have about meis mitzvah. The same question with tzich. But meis mitzvah doiche Shabbos. You tell me the tzich doesn't. So that's the tzich also with doiche Shabbos. So because your whole basis is the tzich. So who told you the tzich is not doiche Shabbos? Let's use the same Kal V'Chomer. That the tzich should, if the tzich pushes away avodah and avodah pushes away Shabbos, then the bezin should be able to execute someone on Shabbos. Not should. I mean, not only could, they should. The tzich gufet tzich the Shabbos from Kal V'Chomer. The same Kal V'Chomer. Avodah doiche the Shabbos. Yet the tzich doiche isa avodah, which you're allowed to do avodah on Shabbos, and yet the tzich pushes that away. Shneimar, it says me im mizbechi tikachenu lamus. You take someone away from the avodah. Is working basically if they deserve to die, you take them away. So Shabbos shenidachah b'nei avodah. So Shabbos gets pushed away from avodah. In addition, shouldn't the bezin execute someone on Shabbos? On the Rava, that we have a special pasuk from Tanadur Rabbi Shmuel. We have a special pasuk that a bezin does not execute. And once we've established that a bezin does not do ritzicha on Shabbos, we'll soon see how we know that. And once we know that, then we will say that. And even though you have this whole Kal V'Chomer, then the same thing would apply to meis mitzvah. Even though you have this whole Kal V'Chomer, the fact that it pushes that the avodah pushes away Shabbos has no bearing on whether and meis mitzvah pushes away it has no bearing on the relationship between meis mitzvah and Shabbos. Just like it has no bearing on ritzicha and Shabbos. What's the story? And the question is, there are 39 malachas, all of them we learned from the Mishkan. Why this malacha is highlighted? Why does the pasuk say so? Someone asked a question, or you just woke up. It's a famous machlekes between Rabbi Yossi and Rabbi Nosson. Rabbi Yossi lav yotzes. Now, what does lav yotzes mean? That's interesting. All other malachas of Shabbos yachai skila, but carrying, the lighting of fire is only a lav. Yes, there's a lav. No miss involved. There's no kind of capital crime. In fact, that's why Tesis and stuff like that says on Yom Tov, Havar is mutter completely, because even on Shabbos it's weaker than all the other malachas. So on Yom Tov, it's chatchila mutter. Ilam Nasan l'chal yotzes. What does l'chal yotzes mean? So there's different Rashis, long noise behudas on this, but the two different Rashis, Psachim and other places. Either we would have thought that no matter how many melachas you do on Shabbos, we would have thought that you know what the Easter is, you desecrate the Shabbos. It's not really the what malacha you did. I don't care if you carried, I don't care if you lit a fire, if you sewed, you cooked. The Easter is you desecrate the Shabbos. If you did 9 melachas, you still did 1 Aveda. You desecrate the Shabbos. Yeah, but so you'll get only 1 malchus or 1 misa. And one mitzvah, I mean, one malchus and one chattas. The main thing is by Yeshayim. You get one chattas. That's what we would have thought. That's why the Torah says takes one malacha, lois of outer way. Should tell you it's the malacha that's the Isa. So now you look at the other 30 malachas, you have 38 different Avedis. You did 9 malachas on Shabbos, behel mechas, you bring 9 different chatois. Because even though it's in common, we had it in the 7th page of Shabbos in the beginning, what exactly is the Isa. But even though they have the Isa, that's going Shabbos, you also have the Isa of doing this malacha, whatever malacha is. That's one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is we would have thought that you're not chayiv for any malacha until you did all 39. We would have thought that when is it considered desecrating the Shabbos, you did all 39. If you did 38, you're not chayiv anything. You're not chayiv, talk about chatzah, you're not chayiv chatzas. And maybe for mitzvah as well. That's what we would have thought. So therefore, the Torah says Allah, even one malacha is considered an aveda you're chayiv for. So whatever it is, what are you asking me now? Suddenly tell me Rabbi Shmuel, why does it say lo sevaruish? We know why it says lo sevaruish. So tell me, look, how about a lav yotzes, divrei Rabbi Yossi? And I'm not saying the chal yotzes, element of it, but it was bothering him, not the word lo sevaruish, bothering him b'chol moshoy seichem. Tana moshav is kasha. Why does it say b'chol moshoy? B'chol moshoy seichem means wherever you live. Why would you think otherwise? Why would you think otherwise? We know we're having kedushin namachesed. The general rule is that if it's a mitzvah to do with the land, then it's only Eretz Yisrael. But if it's a chayvus haguf, it's if it's a chayvus haguf, it's wherever you are. In fact, the Gemara this is an astonishing thing, and there's a long place in there that mitzvah tefillin, the mitzvah tefillin might only be midrabanan, it might be only limited to Eretz Yisrael. And long cases, and the Gemara that we would have thought that maybe tefillin is only a mitzvah rabbanon chutz la'aretz. Rashi says in Chumash, I say why are we doing mitzvahs? So we should remember when Mashiach comes how to do it. As if it's Rashi.
It's just
that's what it seems from Rashi there. We're talking about in Parshas the A, where it's in the A, I think, end of the A. Anyway, another time. Shabbos is a chayv that devolves on each person. The chayv is haguf nohegis bein ba'aretz bein chutz la'aretz. Doesn't matter where you live. Moshav is the kasher rachman l'lamli. Why does it say moshav voice wherever you are? So that was the question. Comes along a Talmud, Rabbi Shmuel, Amar Talmud Echad, named Rabbi Shmuel, came along a Talmud and said, Lefish neman, because it says, if a person committed a sin, the din is that Bezin has to put him to the behumas. It's a mitzvah on the Bezin to go ahead and to execute him. And then you hang him on the tree. So behumas shemei, and I would have thought, bein b'chor bein b'Shabbos. The mitzvah on Bezin, I do whatever, whenever. It says elsewhere now b'mechal Shabbos. And let's say Eish is mamash chil Shabbos, or any of the other mitzvahs, some of them are chil Shabbos. Skila might not be Chilul Shabbos, but Cheder will be Chilul Shabbos. What do I do? Mechalel Moshumas Chastida. One pasuk says, Mechal Shabbos, and here it says that what? Behumas, whatever. B'shar Melach. I would have thought B'shar Melach is Chutz Mrs. Bezin. Maybe you're not allowed to do any Melach on Shabbos, except when it comes to Mrs. Bezin, there's a special mitzvah. Behumas. I don't care what day of the week it is, even Shabbos. We have to bring justice. That's what you would have thought. That's one way of looking at it. Oh yeah, maybe not. I feel Mrs. Bezin. Maybe even Mrs. Bezin is also on Shabbos. It all falls under the umbrella of Mechalel Moshumas. Yomani Mekai Behumas. The Torah says clearly Bezin has to put him to death. Maybe it's only Bechayil. Avaloi b'Shabbos. Oh yeah, for Shabbos, going back and forth. Or maybe it is Shabbos. So what is it? We don't know. You can learn two ways. It says Leisevaru Eish. It says you should not light a fire. It says in one pasuk you shouldn't light a fire which is superfluous. What do you mean before? We just said you're not allowed to fire anyway. So we're going to say that this pasuk is referring to a bezdin. That a bezdin should not light a fire. Even a bezdin should not light a fire on Shabbos. In other words, bezdin cannot carry out their punishment on Shabbos. How do I know that from a bezdin? Because later on it says Ma Meshavas, just like Meshavas or Amul Lahalam, just like Meshavas says later on. There talks about Mrs. Bezin. Is talking about a Bezin, is At Meshavas, the Meshashechem that it says by Shabbos. L'Sevaru Eish, Amakan is Bezin. And V'Amrachman, L'Sevaru Eish, that a bezin cannot carry out punishment. So what do we know? Once we've established that a bezin cannot mete out its punishments on Shabbos, so the tzicha is not doicha Shabbos, even though the tzicha is doicha avoida, and avoida is doicha Shabbos, but it doesn't help us. The fact that Torah said the tzicha is not doicha. No, the Torah tells us that the kavuchem is not a good kavuchem. So then we go to Meis Mitzvah. What do you want to tell me? Meis Mitzvah is doicha avoida, and avoida is doicha Shabbos. If you see a Meis Mitzvah, you should bury Shabbos. So we say, look at the tzicha. You see that this kavuchem has been undermined. It's not a kavuchem. So let's go forget. So let me make a kavuchem forget. Now that we have established from a pasuk that a tzich is not doicha Shabbos, is not doicha Shabbos. Now, which is stronger, avoida or Shabbos? Avoida is much stronger than Shabbos. Why are you allowed to avoida on Shabbos? You can bring kabbanas on Shabbos. At least kabbanas tzibah. And yet, the tzich is not doicha Shabbos. So let's make kavuchem. Surely the tzich should not be doicha avoida. Now that we proved how weak the tzicha is, that it cannot even push away a weak thing like Shabbos, then surely it should not push away a strong thing.